did Trump already break this major campaign promise to gun owners?
At noon on Inauguration Day, we will sack the anti-gun fanatic Steve Dettelbach. Have you ever heard of him? He's a disaster. And replace him with an ATF director who respects the sacred rights to keep and bear arms.
Or was it something that we were kind of expecting all along? That's what I'm going to talk about today as I tell you what I believe Trump is doing with the deputy director right now of the ATF, how it can benefit gun owners and actually send a message to the agency, first of all, which has already kind of actually been confirmed, but also talk about the expectations of what Trump would actually do with the ATF. How far is he willing to take what most of us actually want in the end, which is abolishment? How close can we actually get to that under Trump, or can we even get close at all? That's what we're going to talk about today. And of course, I want to hear your opinion. So this is kind of a follow-up to a video that I recently made, talking about how Trump can use the deputy director now, Marvin Richardson, for a bigger play down the road in order to send a message to the ATF that you need to back off of gun owners. Over the past 4 years, we've all been at siege and kind of walking on eggshells, just wondering what the next piece of gun control legislation is going to be. And a fellow creator, VSO channel, took what I said and interpreted it like this.
Eggshot 87, and I'll have a link to his original video and his channel and all the relevant places you can run it down. But basically, to summarize the video, is that he believes that it is an intentional play to leave Marvin Richardson, the acting director of the ATF, in place at that agency, and that this is a good move.
Which is not at all how I actually made the video. It was Trump playing chess move versus everybody else playing checkers. And he thinks that I think that the play that Trump is making is to leave Marvin Richardson there, and that's a good move, which is not actually what I said. What I said is Marvin Richardson there is somewhat of a chameleon. I think I even kind of said these words exactly. He's somewhat, kind of, somebody you can maybe count on. And most people were able to gather that by this kind of broad description of who Richardson is, he's done some good things, right, for the gun industry, but he's also been there during some really bad things. Now, I didn't go into his entire backstory and who the guy is, because essentially what I am saying is that Marvin Richardson, who has appealed to gun control activists, but has also pissed off those activists, and has also appealed somewhat to gun rights activists, is a chameleon. And that chameleon, Trump can then use to push forward his immigration policy. So taking the attention away from gun owners and actually using the ATF along with the IRS and almost any other agency that Trump wants to direct to enforce immigration. Now, that was just a hypothesis, of course, and how he could actually be sending a message to the ATF as well, like, hey, you need to back off of gun owners. Take the tension away from them and actually focus on stopping criminals. And of course, also stopping the influx of a terrible substance that's coming into our borders that takes the lives of Americans every single year. Well, this was before it was all but confirmed by Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. And one of her first moves was actually saying to the ATF, hey, stop focusing on alcohol and tobacco and focus on immigration. And then she adds something on top of her statement. She says, you're not to take away any of the regulatory responsibilities that you have. That includes federal firearm licenses and also background checks. So you could interpret that as, well, she wants to make sure that the ATF is continuing to crack down on FFLs. And look, it's kind of up for interpretation. Or it could mean that, hey, the ATF doesn't have a cop-out now to slow down on paperwork, 4473s, and FFLs or approving FFLs, right? We're not giving you an excuse to slow down on people exercising their rights. Because unfortunately, in this whole big fiasco, right, they are a big part of it. Anytime you buy a gun, you're a part of this, right? And to some extent, you depend on the ATF. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. What Pam Bondi meant from that, I don't know, right? I'm not going to interpret what she says, not even try to, but that could be two possibilities. But it does align with what I believe Trump was going to do. You use a guy like Marvin Richardson to push forward your agenda, because of Marvin Richardson, he's not looking to maybe butt heads with anybody. He's kind of flowing with the wind. Whichever way the wind is a-blowing, Marvin is going. And so Trump may look at that as a possibility to enforce immigration. But what will Trump do in the long term, though? And how far is he actually willing to go with the ATF? Because this is a big part of the burden on all of us. And look, I don't know if whoever sent VSO the video kind of laced their opinion with the video, and then maybe he trusted that person and then only watched a couple minutes and said, okay, that's the point of the video. That's not the point. Marvin Richardson is a small piece in the cog of the play that I think Trump could be making with the ATF, but he's not the final play, which leads us to the point of this video. What is the final play? What is Trump really going to do with the ATF, and how far will he take it? Well, first of all, given the choice, do you think, right, anybody watching, if you give me the choice of Marvin Richardson or Brandon Herrera, who am I going to take? Well, you don't have to know me to probably guess that I'm going to take Brandon Herrera. This is a guy that's already stated what he's going to do, and it aligns with what we want, right? Because what we don't want is just abolishment. Today, we don't want it abolished because we need things taken care of. We need laws taken off the books, those same laws that are restrictive to us. So there's a lot of things to do in the ATF before the ultimate goal. Put somebody like that there, sky's the limit. Will Trump put him there? I'm not sure. If you would have asked me last year, I would probably have put big money on Brandon Herrera. Now, I just don't know. I hope he does, but I'm thinking that he's going to put somebody more conservative, not more conservative in a political leanings way, but somebody that hasn't been so openly willing to basically shut the agency down. I just have that feeling that's who he's going to go with. Hope I'm wrong, but it's hard to get a confirmation for that position anyways. I think if Trump's going to do it, he's probably going to go more that route. Not sure. As far as do we get abolishment under Trump, I don't think so. There's too much to do. And over the course of 4 years, I don't think you'll get a guy like Trump who supports our rights, but it's obviously not the first thing on his agenda that he wanted to do, right? Immigration is his focus, along with a bunch of other stuff. But he's got to get somebody in there, right? That's what he said. He's going to get somebody in there that respects our rights. And so I think what we might see over the next 4 years under Trump is, this doesn't have anything to do with the ATF, but concealed carry reciprocity. On the NFA side, I believe that suppressors will be removed. I don't think you're going to get SBRs, and I certainly don't think you're going to get full autos. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. It's just my opinion. Also, one thing that somebody has to kind of put this in Trump's ear is the 4473 situation, right? Where obviously you have gun shops, they used to keep these records for 10 years. Well, now it's indefinitely, or until the gun shop closes or turns in their license. What are they doing with that paperwork? What kind of paperwork do they have on us? That stuff needs to be destroyed. You got to get somebody in there that knows about this. And actually, there is a bill that had quite a few co-sponsors to destroy that information. That is something that could potentially happen too. All of the rules, right, that have gone in and the whole rulemaking process, I would love to see that just go away. Dettelbach said at one point, oh, well, we used the 1934 NFA and based that on the pistol brace rule, and yet they're able to approve pistol braces, bump stocks. Totally fine. And then the fact that they can go in and then make tens of millions of Americans felons, that should be, that privilege that they have, that they take advantage of, should be stripped away from them totally. Maybe that happens. Zero tolerance policy, which I hear is actually still in effect. That needs to be taken. Red flag laws, 18 to 20-year-olds, and the restrictions that they have, right? Trump's a big military guy. He has a lot of respect for the military. And so you get somebody, and again, this is about getting somebody close to Trump that knows all of this stuff. I think that's key. Gun Owners of America is one of those groups that says they're going to work closely with him, and they know all of this. So that might be one of our best chances for a lot of this stuff to go through. But if you trust 18 to 20-year-olds to go and fight, die for this country, which is super admirable, you don't restrict them or make them go through enhanced background checks because they want to protect themselves at home or believe in this fundamental right. I've already talked about some of the other things that he's done kind of behind the scenes, not like sexy executive orders, right? And not close to what we eventually want to see, but this is a slow kind of going process. It's not the timeline in which we want. It's not even the timeline in which Trump said he was going to do it, but he does do a lot of the things that he says he's going to do, whether you like those things or not. And so I'm going to give him credit where it's due, but I'm also, just like you should, hold his feet to the fire when he doesn't do those things, or when so much time has elapsed. It's like, okay, come on, dude. We helped put you there. You have to fulfill those promises. So if done right, and if the right people are close to Trump, we can get a lot done, right? Marvin Richardson is not the ultimate guy for that job, but he is a guy that can be used in the short term to carry through with the Trump policies, the Trump immigration policies that he wants done right now. But he is not the final play. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear yours down below. Let me know what you think. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.